Major NFL news from ESPN that is going to impact the Arizona Cardinals. A trade avalanche could be coming in the National Football League, according to ESPN. That's what we're talking about on today's show. Welcome into Cardinals Today, presented by Prize Picks. Make sure you code HMA. Get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and just before we dive into the show, guys, we're so close to 3,000 subscribers. I mean, that is awesome to say out loud. Our Jaguars channel here at Chat Sports just hit 3,000 subscribers today. I'm not even kidding. You can go look at theirs. I would like to catch them and show the bosses here that Cardinals fans are even more passionate and more diehard than other fans in the league. So if you're a loyal Cardinals fan, hit that subscribe button. It is free. We're only 70 subs away from 3K. So the first thing that ESPN starts to outline here is after seeing the blockbuster of Myles Garrett going to our division rival here, Rams, and then A.J. Brown on the same day traded to the New England Patriots. We all knew that one was going to come, but it happened. And now, quote, last Monday punctuated the direction the league is going toward more blockbuster trades. So this is significant. The league is headed towards more massive deals like this. Well, what could that mean for the Cardinals? We'll start with the exact quote from Jeremy Fowler here, NFL Insider, saying, GMs are more willing or eager to make deals now, no longer clinging to precious draft capital as tightly, whereas teams in a rebuilding phase are quicker to accept that reality. Others in contention are leaning into the one-player-away mantra, and they are all more willing to consider a high salary cap player a sunk cost if the relationship no longer works. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody gear up for what we are headed towards, and that is the new NFL. Teams are going to go all in, just like the Rams are doing. F them picks. They're willing to make those blockbusters and give away their draft picks. On the other hand, the rebuilding teams, maybe like the Arizona Cardinals, are piling more picks, accepting the reality, and as we watch more successful rebuilds go down, like the Patriots and the Bears, more teams that are rebuilding are going to follow that model. That could include the Arizona Cardinals, and it's also going to be rare to have those one-jersey players all of a sudden going forward, right? Like Myles Garrett was Brown for life. Now he's in L.A., and we got to face him. Although if you ask Mac Wilson, they got to deal with us. Awesome. We'll talk about that on another show. But an AFC executive added to this saying the league is going to lean into the whole June 1 thing, right? June 1st, that deadline. It's summer, it's slow, and it's good engagement for the league. So buckle up, everybody. This is the direction we are headed in. And I've started to allude to it, but how does this affect the Arizona Cardinals then? When you have, on one hand, teams willing to go all in and trade for a player if they're one away. And you've got the Cardinals, who they have some good players, guys. I think people laugh about the Cardinals too much on the outside media. There's some dogs on the roster. And many believe the Cardinals are entering a rebuilding phase, or just that they're going to be bad, which is a fair assumption. We don't have a quarterback figured out, and the one you do, one, isn't great compared to the other starters, and two, is actually holding out. I understand all of that, but if they're a team that is going to enter a rebuild phase, maybe they're one of these teams that ESPN is reporting is willing to part ways with their players to get more picks then and accept the reality. And if there's anything we've learned, it's that, quote, untouchable players are no longer safe. If Myles Garrett could get traded, anybody in the NFL could get traded because he might have been the best player in the NFL. So perhaps we have to look for the Cardinals to sell some big names here if this whole quarterback situation is spiraling and they don't think they'll be able to compete with the division right away. Who could those names be? That's what's next on the show. Blockbuster trade candidates that the Cardinals might be shipping away based on this new report from ESPN. Before we dive into that, guys, I want to let you know today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a sporting event. Use code CHAT10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets. MLB is in full swing. NFL schedule is out. You can now get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek too. This could be a once-in-a-lifetime experience to go to a World Cup game while it is in America. For me, I'm looking at those Cardinals home games, 9 home games here. Would love to watch Jeremiah Love play in person. That rookie is electric, and SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That is 10% off any tickets with promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. First trade candidate for the Cardinals might be the obvious one. It's Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat, would you call it a blockbuster? You might. I mean, the guy had double-digit sacks last year. You know, he's one of the better players on this Cardinals defense. And there's rumors that have been swirling around Josh Sweat. Number one, that he's not happy in Arizona. Maybe it's that they're not winning. Maybe it's because he had a great relationship with Jonathan Gannon, who's no longer here. And that decision needed to be made. Let me be clear. Absolutely, Gannon should have been fired. Okay, even if that cost you Sweat. In fact, the Browns just did the same thing. You know, they didn't hire the DC that Miles liked, and now Garrett's gone. Perhaps in a smaller scale, we're dealing with a similar scenario. Ian Rappaport would say that's not it, though. NFL Insider says this is not going down. There's no Sweat trade. But I'll believe it when I see it, because they said there would be no Myles Garrett trade either. So watch out for the Josh Sweat trade. The value, though, well, according to the ESPN report, the teams are more willing to part ways for high picks. So, if that's true, that is why I still think this Josh Sweat trade could be possible, especially if he wants out. How high of a pick would it be? Third probably is the value. I think Arizona would push for a second. I don't think they're being offered a second, though, because we got the report from Jordan Schultz that Cardinals have received trade calls on Josh Sweat. Sources told the NFL Insider Jordan Schultz this. And so if you couple all the pieces of the puzzle together, you can get to that conclusion, right? Josh Sweat might not be happy. Teams are more willing to trade stars for picks if they're in a rebuild. Teams then called the Cardinals about Sweat. So why is there no deal done if all that's true? Offer probably wasn't good enough. And so there's no reason to just give away Josh Sweat for, I don't know, a third or fourth if you don't think he's that low of value. They're not trying to give him away, but they would if they got a good deal. If they gave him a second, I guess a no-brainer the Cardinals would take that. Keep that in mind. Next one, and he's come up a little bit in different rumors, deeper rumors, I would say, but Marvin Harrison Jr., is he a trade candidate for the Arizona Cardinals? I would say it doesn't fit the mold of what we're talking about because of his youth, still being on the rookie deal. Probably not something the Cardinals would rush to do. They've got another year to figure him out, to unlock him, and then we could talk about this, right? Because the numbers for Marvin Harrison Jr., they have not lived up at all to fourth overall pick status, right? The stats from last year show 600 yards. I know he had the injury concerns, right? But he's never had a 1,000-yard season. And we were told he's generational. So because there's still a couple years left on the rookie contract, I don't think the Cardinals need to sell him now, but look out for him in the future, I would say, Marvin Harrison Jr. Next candidate we're going to hit you guys with is James Conner, the running back who is aging a little bit. James Conner, people forget how good he was for the Arizona Cardinals, actually. You know, he's had multiple 1,000-yard rushing seasons. And NFL insider Dan Graziano actually was one that started to predict that James Conner could be traded. Take a look. Said the team signed Tyler Algier in free agency, used the number 3 pick on Love. Conner has been a great signing with the consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons from 2023 to 2024. But he turned 31, is coming off a major season-ending injury, and has just 1 year left on his contract. Conner accepted a pay cut this past spring, so it's possible that he's in their plans, and someone such as Trey Benson is more likely to get traded to alleviate the logjam at running back. But it feels like one of the Cardinals' 6 running backs has to go, and a team looking for a reliable veteran back could make a move for Conner if he's having a hard time getting carries. Bengals and Giants jump to mind. They were looking for running back help this offseason, but didn't bring in much. So I've always said Trey Benson would more likely be the one with value, but if we're talking about timelines here, if we're talking about this report from ESPN, his age, his injuries, kind of makes sense to move Connor if you can get a draft pick for him. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Cardinals made a move like that. The restructure to me tells me he's in, but never know. Way more shocking things have happened. Finally, talking about star veterans on the Cardinals, Budda Baker would fit that mold of a Cardinals trade option, right? More of a bigger name who is aging, very talented safety. Now, I wouldn't want to give up Budda Baker, but why this is on the list is because he's 30. It would save Arizona $16 million in cap space to trade him right now. That is a fact, according to Over the Cap. And there's 2 years left on his contract, so probably get a decent return for him. And if this thing is true that teams are going to give up stars for picks, well, he'd be someone that I bet team needs safety help is calling about, and the Cardinals would consider moving. That's a list of some big names that are also realistic. Let me know in the comment section one player you think the Arizona Cardinals would trade this offseason. Comment that name down below. All my diehard Cardinals fans that know ball, get your name in that comment section. Now, we're going to talk about blockbuster trade targets. Is there a big name that the Cardinals would go out and try to acquire? Maybe they aren't as far away as people are suggesting. That is the last thing we're going to talk about on today's show. But I also want you guys to see the prize picks lineup that I have cooked up here to try and win some money during the big soccer tournament going on right now. I'm picking more than 43.5 passes attempted for Federico Valverde. I'm also going to pick the more on Juan Soto in terms of hits, runs, and RBIs. Soto has been hot lately. 2 hits in his last 4 games. Also had back-to-back home runs on this 4-game stretch. So I feel good about Soto. Then I'm going to go with the less on Azzy Fudd's points, though, less than 14. Guys, you can play alongside all of us at Chat Sports and get $50 when you play your first $5 entry with code HMA. The link is also available in the comments and descriptions of today's video, and that is code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 entry. Prize picks. It's good to be right. There's a big name going around right now that is an offseason trade likely. Not right now, but there's a new development in Tampa that if this continues to spiral, Baker Mayfield will not be a Buccaneer, and you can mark my words on that if they don't figure this out. Baker recently spoke about his contract negotiations in Tampa, and he said, yeah, contract stuff is happening, starting talks, whatnot. Not anywhere close to what you were thinking. So I'd like to be your long-term. As of right now, that is not exactly the case, but I'm under contract for 2026, and you guys in that locker room, staff, know I'm still going to be me. So wait a minute. He says they're not even close. It's not what you were looking for. And even though he wants to be in Tampa, that's not the case long-term right now. It's pretty, telling words. And Baker is a free agent in 2027, so that's a common theme with guys that get traded, right? There's a year left on their deal, and somebody will be the ones to have to figure out the contract going forward. Baker's not going to take less than what he wants. Baker's not that kind of guy. He's a fiery guy. He's an animated guy. If he feels he's getting disrespected, he's out of there. So if the Bucs don't believe in him enough, they don't want to be the team that pays Baker, $50 million a year going forward. Well, they're going to trade him to someone that will. Would that be the Cardinals? You have a chance to get a guy who could play like a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League, and the Cardinals maybe think they just need a quarterback more than anything. Something to consider. Let me know in the comment section if this starts to become a real possibility. Would you want the Cardinals to trade for Baker? If you would, type Y for yes in the comment section. If you wouldn't, type N for no down below. Maybe a quarterback that could get traded that is actually a backup right now but can play as a starter and has showed that he can do that. What about Mac Jones? If Jacoby's going to cause problems, what's the difference between Mac Jones and Jacoby Brissett, honestly? I mean, if you can get a draft pick, give up a draft pick for Mac that isn't too high, and he'll be a serviceable starter, I think that's something to look out for Arizona. Now, I don't think the Niners want to trade Mac Jones, so keep that in mind, but he could be a target for them as well, as this is a quarterback-needy team. Finally, I'm going to put a young receiver here. If we're talking about Marv being traded out, well, a different star young receiver should probably come in to play with Michael Wilson. Garrett Wilson will be that guy. Get the Wilson pair in here because there's been reports that Wilson is unhappy in New York He was very frustrated on the sidelines last season. And so if he's not happy with what's going on, maybe he wants to get moved, come to the warm weather climate. If he's not happy with the Jets, probably not going to be happy with the Cardinals. Neither team has been great recently, but we're talking blockbusters here. If we want a blockbuster, it'd probably be a younger guy with some talent. That's Garrett Wilson to me. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Cardinals Today. I've been your host, Joey O'Donohue. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're a diehard Cardinals fan. And I thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.